Hey, hello, everybody. Greg here, Master Trader. So we get a bit of a gap and crap, as we call it. Um, it was gapped up this morning, primarily on the semiconductor news. We'll take a look at that. And you can see it came up into the area of that gap, and sellers stepped up. So where do we go from here? Well, look at the charts objectively. Um, Hourly, 65 is still in an uptrend. Fill the gap, bottoming tail bar. It's stabilizing. You can see on the 5 minute here the retest and turn up. So as we always do, as prices come up into a resistance area, we see how it acts. So far, we got one red bar ignored. And could this turn into a bottoming tail bar today? It certainly could. Um, would be a bit unusual with this type of a gap up here. Well, what I mentioned pre-market was it would be damaging if prices came down into that area since it was a resting period here, those 5 days. So while the red bar here will get everyone's attention initially, one bar doesn't change a trend. And this is trending up. It's taken out this pivot high there. We'll see what tomorrow brings. There's an economic report, that PCE, widely followed by the Fed. They say it's their main economic indicator as to providing their bias along with, the jobless claims and so on that always comes out. So we'll see. Maybe this can get a little bit of a rally going here this afternoon, but there's just apprehension about these economic reports, so we'll just have to see how this unfolds here. Um, if the report comes out and the markets like it and we can get a red bar ignored, well, then it would be off to the races, up, up, and away. Gap down into this area, and then we'd have to kind of regroup and see how things unfold from there, as it would be violating the 65-minute uptrend, which is not, really violating the daily, but it would certainly put it into question. So, SMHs, I mentioned pre-market, they were gapping up into that pivot, so certainly we had to be careful about longs at that point. And it came down here. It's showing us some relative strength since it's not filling the gap, making a higher low for the moment. It's here, and maybe this can start to rally up a bit, it looks like. And you can see the 65-minute there also still in an uptrend and turning around. IWM, more controlled type of pullback. Well, it pulled back and the others were going up, but so it was showing relative weakness. But now we see that it's cleared this high. It's pulling back into what would be a buy area. And if this can turn into a bottoming tail bar by the end of the day, we'd have a long setup above that bar's high. Financials retested here, shallow pullback. So far, green on the day. That's good. You can see it's up near the highs. That's a positive. Yet the 65-minute is in a downtrend with a deep retracement. So a different alignment of multiple time frames there. KRE trying to make the turn. Financials showing relative strength, basing at the high of the day. Downtrend on the 65 at resistance. We'll see if it can join the daily here and this begin to move up. Diamonds. Big red bar, or black bar, as I've got it color coded from yesterday, but gapping deeply into that dark bar and up near the high of the day, going sideways on the 65. So that's looking pretty good. And we'll see if that follows through. What's doing the best on the day? Materials. Right, gapping above the high of a red bar. And I think that's new all-time highs breaking out. So there's another positive. Technology, same story as SMHs. Retest there, deep retracement. Looks like it's going to try and move up. Hourly bottoming tail bar looking good. Of course, Micron was the big news on the day, gapping up. I said, well, it's a red in the morning. It's the biggest percentage gain for this stock in 13 years. So after this pullback and retesting gap up, this should be an igniting gap. So while it may need to consolidate a bit, it's got a monster void up above. So we're definitely going to be watching semiconductors and this stock, looking for whether it pulls back a little bit, some kind of continuation pattern, which could set this thing moving up very nicely. Industrials, nice march higher. Financials we looked at, just going through the list of what's up most on the day. Consumer discretionary, grinding higher nicely. Worst is XLE. So there was quite a few um, oil-related stocks that had wide-range bars today. Mentioned a few in the green room, and we'll see what they look like at day's end. But there was some bearish news. This gap down, and I will see if this is just part of a bottoming process or whether it's going to be the next leg down. We just don't know yet, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Um, Real estate and utilities getting sold a little bit, consolidating here. If this was to close down below these lows, that would be a bearish event. We have a consolidation or resting period, and so if it was to close below that, the trend would still be up, but a negative event. This pivot low is major support. The low prior to a higher high, a close below that, the uptrend would be violated, and that would suggest lower prices. But we'll see how this day plays out, where we go from here into tomorrow. As always, if you have questions, email us, Greg and Dan at Master Trader.